Ugh. Of course. Wait. Alright, I've got ads playing. So I assume the video must have started. At least one person in the chat says they can't hear me. Howdy, Rafa Baldi. Hey, can you guys hear me okay? There's one person saying I'm assuming there's at least one person who says they can't hear me. And what the fuck? Where did the chat room go? Alright, I'm gonna do it here. Alright. We're back. I don't know why that isn't playing. I can see it in the studio. That's good enough. Guys, X-Men 97 is back. Oh boy. It's been a while, hasn't it? Over 2 years we've been waiting for this. But now we finally have a release date, July 1st. So it's like a month away now. It's almost here, finally almost here. And now we have a trailer. And not just a leaked one that fans had to like covertly shoot with their phones at a con and smuggle out. No, an official trailer, so I can show it and talk about it without worrying about the video getting taken down. And I almost did a reaction video on this. But then I thought, you know, I really want to talk with people about this and see what they think. So here we are. So, if you were around for the Season 1 reviews, which there's a whole playlist on the channel, go check that out. But if you saw those reviews I did, then you know Season 1 really stressed me out. And for good reason. So I'm going to try to not get worked up here. And I think I can, because it looks pretty encouraging so far. I'm not going to bitch about it, at least not yet. I like the trailer. I can say that. There's some very cool stuff here. There are things that I'm kind of wondering about. My main concern right now, one of them anyway, is how crowded this season looks. Because there are so many characters and so many stories, way more than they had in Season 1, and they've only got 9 episodes to work with this time. That's 1 episode less than they had in Season 1. I don't know how the hell they're going to fit all this stuff in. Because, I mean, as we're going to find out in just a minute as we go through this trailer, there's just so much. There's so much, and that's not even counting all the stuff we saw in the 2 leaked trailers that we saw, you know, months ago. Put that all together, there's like, I don't even know, there's like 3-4 seasons worth of stuff in here. All crammed into 9 episodes. Unbelievable. Now, we saw how big of a problem this became in Season 1, where there just wasn't enough screen time to go around. So, a lot of really important characters got benched. Storm was off-screen for half the season. Gambit was fridged. Other characters like Wolverine, Beast, and Morph barely got anything to do. And a lot of that was due to the now fired former showrunner Beau DeMayo, who I really hope I won't have to talk about very much over the next couple months. But yeah, Beau DeMayo devoting about 80% of the spotlight to his favorite characters, that being Magneto, Cyclops, and Jean. So the screen time was not fairly distributed between the cast at all. And there may still be some of that in Season 2. Now, DeMayo is gone, got himself fired for being a bit of a creep, shall we say. And there have been a lot of rewrites. I guess he finished writing Season 2, and then he got fired. So they brought in a new writer, new head writer. They rejiggered everything to remove his credits because he violated his NDA, and there was all sorts of legal stuff. I won't get into that here. That doesn't mean all of his work was thrown out, though. There may still be some of that favoritism in there, I know they rewrote. Apparently, they did enough rewriting to remove all of his credits, but it does appear that some of like the gist of what he wrote still remains, and whatever remains that is his stuff, I'm sure he'll tell us. So we're going to have to wait and see on a lot of this stuff. Now, hopefully the rewrites will have at least put a stop to the character assassinations that we saw in Season 1. Again, won't really get into that right now. But there's still a lot of question marks here. However, just going by this trailer, I feel optimistic. Now, the season is definitely going to be jam-packed with stuff. It's going to be crowded. It's going to be messy. Season 1 was too, so we should expect that. But it's also going to be where we hopefully get the payoff to a lot of things in Season 1 that gave me so much anxiety, and then left us hanging on a cliffhanger for 2 years. So, with that said, get your super chats in now if you're so inclined, and we'll do some Q&As at the end. But first, let's talk about this trailer that popped up, I believe, was it yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday. Okay, let's get into this thing. Wait a minute. Oh my God, what's going on? The video is changing shape. This has never happened before. Magic! Ah! I don't know what's happening right now. Wait, wait, that's interesting. Appears to be some sort of trailer in the corner of the screen. How is this happening? Okay. All right, bear with me. I haven't done this before. Okay. So, get the microphone out of the way here. All right. Season 2 trailer. Let's take a look. All right, so we begin in ancient Egypt. So when we left off, the team was split between the past, present, and the future. This is the team in ancient Egypt, and we have looks like some sort of either an accident or a crash or some kind of weapon discharge. Something has like smashed through this giant rock face, and not sure what has happened exactly. It's some sort of disaster. Maybe the celestial ship crashed through there. We don't know yet. What we do know is that the team has been in ancient Egypt for a little bit at this point. And we know this because they've had enough time to change their clothes. And Nightcrawler has had enough time to procure gloves that fit. Now, there wouldn't be a lot of two-fingered gloves in ancient Egypt, so somebody would have had to make those for him, so they've been in Egypt for a little bit at this time. You see Rogue in that orange shawl-looking thing that's kind of a callback to one of her original suits in the comics. And she's talking about Gambit. He's not waiting for her at home because he's dead, and she misses him and all that stuff. And right out of the gate, I'm liking this. It's one of the main things that bugged me about all like the marketing and basically how they've been, just how the cast and crew have been treating this whole situation for the last 2 years. They've basically been acting like Gambit just doesn't exist. They've kind of ghosted us on all this stuff, even though they let the cat out of the bag at the end of Season 1. With Apocalypse and the playing card, so much pain, my children, so much death. Okay, gee, I wonder what that means. Like, if you've read the comics, you know what it means. There's probably only a very small portion of the audience who doesn't. And yet they've still been playing coy, like maddeningly coy about this for 2 years. Even when they started releasing those promos, like the posters and stuff, it's like, where are the Four Horsemen? Where is Gambit? It's like, you know? Very frustrating. Finally, they're talking like, oh yeah, Gambit, he's a thing. Oh yeah, he's going to cast a very large shadow over Season 2, like the producer said in an interview. And so this is very encouraging. Thank you. I would have liked to have seen him in this trailer, but at least they're talking about him again. That's nice. And here we have a scene of Jubilee giving the Queen of Hearts card to Rogue, excuse me. This, I think, will be in episode 4, because I've been, very ensconced in like the fan community and various fan theories, and I've read a lot of spoilery bits and stuff that have come out. Also, Bo DeMeo has not shut up about the show for the last 2 years, and he's kind of revealed some things. So we know the time travel story will last for the first 3 episodes. And episode 4 is when everybody is back and they're getting reacclimated in the present and they're forming the Corporation, one of those things. So the team will be reunited with Jubilee in episode 4, most likely. What I think happens here is that this is a reference to the tie-in comic that they're doing. Written by Steve Fox, he did the tie-in miniseries in the comics for season 1 as well. It's basically filling in the blanks of what's going to happen between seasons 1 and season 2. And we know from the solicitations that in one of those issues, the characters left in the present, that being Cable and the new X-Force team he's assembling, will be fighting the new Horseman Pestilence. We don't know who Pestilence will be, but they'll be encountering whoever the new Pestilence is. And we don't have solicits for the other issues yet, but we can assume that Famine and War will show up as well. I think what's going to happen is a Jubilee will, she'll have encounters with these other horsemen, and at the end she'll find the playing card, which will plant the seed in her mind that maybe Gambit has been resurrected by Apocalypse. And then when she meets up with Rogue again, that's when this happens. And this is a good way to kind of narrative shortcut their way around this because there's so much stuff going on. It's good to get the characters up to speed as fast as possible. If they do it this way, we don't have to sit around waiting for the X-Men to catch up with us, because we know what's going on. It looks like the Horsemen will be created before the X-Men return to the present, so we don't want to just wait around and just kind of chomping at the bit for the X-Men to just figure this out. So if they can get up to speed immediately, that's good. That saves some time. Yes, very sad. Devoting the first little bit of this trailer to the Rogue Gambit story, that's a good sign. And I love this part of the logo right here. Very strategically placed. That's the last thing we see with the logo. That was not a coincidence. Alright. So we got ancient Egypt stuff. What did they get the wheelchair in ancient Egypt? I guess Beast must have jury-rigged something for Xavier. Okay, here we have some kind of technology being activated. Of course, ancient Egypt stuff in the background. They're most likely in Ramatut's palace, because they're adapting the Rise of Apocalypse miniseries here, or at least taking notes from it. I haven't read that one in a long time, but in that miniseries, they're showing Apocalypse's origin, going from En-Sabah and how he began, and I guess also he encountered this warlord or Egyptian ruler, Ramatut, who is a version of Kang. And I guess Kang has a lot of advanced technology, which I'm assuming is how the X-Men wound up in the past. I have a theory about this. They're activating some kind of time travel device, and a little bit later in the trailer, we're going to see Teenage Nathan activating some device. I'm assuming that's also time travel, and they're going to send out like signals or temporal signals into the ether, and that's how Forge and Bishop discovered where exactly in time they are. So that's what I think is happening here. And here, that'll be Ramatut, I believe. You can see all these lights here showing up in front of him. He's got that advanced technology, and excuse me. Yep, again, here's En-Sabah, and you see these green armored robotic type things there. So he's definitely, yeah, all right. I like this. I like this part a lot. Look, here we have the past, the Sphinx, and somebody standing before them, and in the foreground here we have this pit, and I don't know what's coming out of it. Is that it's fire or something? But then, before and after shot, we see the same shot, but now it's in the future, the far future, Cable's future. The Sphinx has been transformed into a monument to apocalypse, and the pit is filled with corpses. Good Lord. You know, Ross Marquand, who voices Xavier in Apocalypse, he said this season was going to be dark as hell. I didn't think it was going to be this dark. That is nightmare fuel type stuff right there. And here we have the adventures of Cyclops and Phoenix. That's what they're adapting in the future storyline. Of course, Nathan has been aged up a little bit. When last we saw him, he looked like, you know, kind of like preteen age. Now he's clearly teenager. So that doesn't really make sense to me, because I know they have to allot enough time for the story to take place. But, I mean, we're dealing with time travel. So why would they realistically, why would they be in the future or the past for any length of time at all? Once Bishop and Forge figure out where they are, why wouldn't they just go to secure them at the same point that they arrived in the past and future? I mean, because if the team in the future is going to be there for a while, I don't understand that. That is strange. So that's something I'm wondering about. Okay, here seems like your typical Skybeam, but I had to I had to slow this down, and I don't think I can freeze on the exact spot, so I took a screen cap here. Because there's literally only 3 frames of it, but look, if you... Where's the... Yeah, okay, here. That's how it starts. That looks to be the celestial ship, Apocalypse's celestial ship, last seen in the, I believe, season 4 episode, might be season 3 episode of X-Men the Animated Series, the 90s series, Obsession, where they fought Apocalypse, and they went aboard his ship, and it's sentient, it's, you know, has an AI, and Beast had that kind of like weird psychosexual thing with it. And the ship died somehow and dropped into the ocean. But it's in the past, and so the ship will still be in play. So this looks to be where they encounter it. Maybe that's what made that big hole in the first shot at the beginning of the trailer. It looks to be attacking something. So either it's attacking Kang, or maybe Kang controls the ship at this point and it's attacking his enemies. So that will be interesting, because remember, that thing was like over a mile long. That ship was huge. So I don't know. So it'll be interesting how they work that thing in ancient Egypt. And here. Okay, and you have big sky beam, very dark, attacking everybody. Team shot. All right, and this actually, 86 is a fan theory, because remember, at the end of season 1, in the scene in Forge's office, he had this pegboard of various characters, and some were like crossed off of like dead or believed to be deceased, or off-world, whatever that means, or missing, or whatever. And there were a couple that were not marked, so which implied that they were like they were on the table, or they were alive, they were out there somewhere. Yeah, there were a bunch of different characters: Emma Frost, Shadowcat, Colossus, Magic, Dust. Might have been 1 or 2 others. And one of the theories was that Forge and Bishop would assemble all these characters. Iceman was on there too. They would assemble all these characters and create like a makeshift team of new X-Men to come with them to the past and future to rescue their time-displaced friends. This seems to put the kibosh on that theory. It looks like, you know, and also some of the promotional material they released earlier as well, because various groupings of characters that are going to happen, and Bishop was grouped with the Ancient Egypt characters. So it looks like they don't assemble a makeshift team. They just split up. But Forge goes to the future, and Bishop goes to the past. And this seems to be confirming that. Check out the Magneto redesign. I really like that for a couple of reasons. I'll get into that in a minute. Okay. Apocalypse. This, I think, is our first look at Apocalypse that we've gotten anywhere. I think he showed up in one of the posters they released, but this is our first time seeing him in a trailer. Our first good look at him. I mean, he looks pretty identical to his and to his character design from the 90s series, so I don't know why they were hiding him for so long. It looks really good. Okay, you know what? I am going to back up a little bit and unmute it so we can hear the voice. Because you guys need to hear this.
Men, I must strike them at their most vulnerable.
Yeah. Okay. I hope you heard that. I have it on mute. I hope you guys heard that. He looks good. I don't know about the voice. I really don't. I mean, this is just personal preference, because I am very partial to his voice in the 90s series. I mean, you're not going to beat John Colicos. You're just not. Even the guy who replaced him after he passed away, he was great too. I don't know. They had so much personality, and they knew how to just monologue and choose scenery with the best of them. Iconic voice. I don't know about this new voice. I mean, it was always going to be a step down. It's just, it's different. Let me get rid of this one here. All right. Next up, we have Polaris entering what appears to be the X-Mansion. Supposedly, Polaris is going to play a fairly significant role this season, which is a little strange, because I know in the original version, she was, I think, one of the lead characters. This is before the rewrites. And it was all going to build up to her playing a critical role in the finale episode, which has since been axed. So that episode won't be happening anymore. So I'm wondering what Polaris is going to be doing in this season now, and is it going to be just a lot of build up for nothing? Because, I mean, originally, like, I could spoil this because, I mean, it's not happening anymore, but originally they were going to be adapting Legion Quest in the finale, and Polaris was going to be playing the David Haller role. Because they like to, swap out characters and give their roles in the comics to different characters. It's very strange. But yeah, that's not going to be happening anymore. And yet, it does look like Polaris is still playing a big role. So, what's the end game? I don't know. Another thing that's weird. All right? We see her pictures here. We saw Iceman in there. And here's pictures of her time with the X-Men. And this is more retconning at work here, which is nothing new if you saw Season 1. Now, in the 90s series, which admittedly had a lot of continuity gaps in it, but in the 90s series, let me back up. Here they're showing like the original 5 X-Men: Cyclops, Jean, Beast, Iceman, and Angel, and Polaris, who was the next one to join. So 97 has gone with the version of the story wherein the original 5 were a thing in the 90s series. They were not. At least not most of the time. In fact, they met Archangel for the first time in Season 1 of that show. So the O5 weren't a thing, except in the Iceman episode, where they retconned it, and they showed flashbacks, and now the O5 were a thing for some reason. And also, Polaris showed up as the next character to join. So it looks like they're going with that retcon. And, it is annoying to me. I said when I reviewed Season 1, either it's all canon or none of it is. Admittedly, the original series did have a lot of continuity gaps, so sometimes you're going to have sometimes, I mean, they will have to pick and choose, which frustrates me, but I guess it's the way it is. So they've gone with the retcon that the O5 existed and then Polaris showed up. And I guess Jean, Storm, and Polaris were besties because Storm and Rogue's friendship has just disappeared. And Kleindropper, thank you for the super chat. Great to see you live streaming, man. First time I've seen you pop up as live. Glad you could join us. Thank you very much. Very generous of you. Retcon of Polaris in there, and in the Iceman episode of TAS, she and Iceman were a thing. I think that was something that was a thing. They were a thing for a while in the comics too. And that whole story was about how Polaris kind of faked her death, and joined X Factor because she didn't have the guts to just tell Bobby that the relationship isn't working out anymore. It was weird. It was a weird backstory. Anyway, we got Morph and Wolverine here. Not even gonna buy me a drink first. So they're still doing this thing where Morph is kind of, sort of trying to flirt with Wolverine a little bit. And look at Wolverine's face. He is just not having any of it. I don't know if he senses what's going on there or not, but this thing with Morph is weird. Like, they don't really have anything for this guy to do aside from being a cameo machine and being a closeted gay who's in love with Wolverine. And look, I mean, I've talked about the Morph thing before. I mean, if you want to make Morph gay, I don't care. I mean, that's fine. I mean, you're not violating any canon by doing that. So, I mean, whatever Morph wants to be, I don't care. I mean, I have no strong feelings about it. So if Morph is gay, whatever. Him being in love with Wolverine, that's weird, because I don't know where you can go with that. Because, I mean, they're never going to pay it off. I mean, Marvel and Disney like to pretend they're all woke and shit, but I mean, if anybody out there honestly believes that they're going to make the cash cow character the most popular character in the franchise gay, like, I think you need to ask yourself some serious questions. Like, that is not happening. So I don't know what they can do with this Morph thing. Or is it going to be a case of, like, Will from Stranger Things, where they tease for several seasons that he's in love with Mike, and then at the end it's like, you know, I thought I liked this person. Hey, Mike, how's it going? But I think I don't think I really liked them. I don't think I really liked them, actually. I think it's more like I just wanted to be myself and do my own thing. Hey, Mike. You feeling all right? You doing good? Having a good day? Okay. So yeah, I don't think I really like that person after all. If I can just be myself with someone, I think that's good. I think I'm good with that. So maybe it'll be a situation like that. I don't know. I mean, because I mean, like they're not making Wolverine gay. They're not. Any shippers hoping for that, like, bless your hearts. You are in for a disappointment. But yeah, these two are going off on their own. We know there's going to be an episode in Japan. Wolverine lost his adamantium, and we know he's getting it back this season, so there's probably one where they go to Japan. We know they're going to seek out Deathstrike and Sabretooth. That's probably going to be a Weapon X themed episode where Wolverine is looking for a way to get his adamantium back. That's probably the episode this takes place in. And Jean and Scott doing stuff. Don't really care about that. And, okay. Jubilee and Sunspot. Why are these two still a thing? Serious question. Why? I haven't... Okay, in over 2 years, I have not spoken to a single person who actually liked Sunspot in Season 1. And if you know anything about either character, you know how completely wrong for each other they are. So putting these two together as a couple, that never made sense to me. There was no chemistry at all. Okay, Sunspot was just an obnoxious little shit. He had some of the weakest writing in the whole season. Ugh. That entire story in Season 1 just went over like a fart in church. Sunspot's whole character, fart in church. Unfortunately, it does look like they're still paired up, and we know from the posters they released that they're going to be on Cable's new X-Force team. So I'm not a fan of this. If they have to be teammates, okay, so be it. But, I mean, God, just get Jubilee away from Sunspot for the love of God. Ugh. Very annoying. But, you know what? Animation is cool. Jubilee looks badass. Digging the Generation X haircut. Really like that. More Ancient Egypt. Animation looks on point. You know, originally in Season 1, people were kind of complaining about the animation looking a little bit janky. And, you know, I think they ironed out those details pretty quickly within a couple episodes. It looks like they've leveled up again. This all looks very slick. Yep. All right. Forge and Bishop getting ready to go to the past and future. So there's no makeshift team. It's just those two. Kind of weird that they'd split up. That seems like a bad idea to me. Maybe stick together. It's typical horror movie logic. You split up your dead mate. Okay. Yeah. And here's the other shot I was talking about earlier. Here is teenage Nathan, teenage Cable, activating some kind of technology. Here they got that ancient Egypt-looking background here, so that's likely on Apocalypse's ship. And to the right of him, that's Mother Ascani and Storm, because they have finally confirmed that Storm, Morph, and Wolverine will be in the future timeline with Scott and Jean. They're unaccounted for now, but they are in the future. We know that. Yep. Okay. Activating some kind of technology here. I believe that's a time travel device. It's how Bishop and Forge know about them, and I missed it, so let me go back. That is adult Cable all grown up, and some kind of newfangled Sentinel. Not the Prime Sentinel, but it's like a new model of the old school Sentinels. I don't know where those would come from, because I have to assume that after the season 1 finale, the Sentinels would have been decommissioned. So this is new. I don't think Apocalypse would be using Sentinels unless he's been pulling the strings like from the shadows and like manipulating certain events. I wouldn't put that past him, but best guess is these Sentinels were commissioned by Graydon Creed, because we know from the season 1 finale Graydon Creed is running for president, and now, with the rewrites, we don't know what's going to happen with the election, but the original version of Season 2 was going to, the finale, rather, the original finale was going to take place in and around the inauguration. So, maybe these Sentinels were commissioned by Graydon Creed? That would be my guess. Otherwise, I'm not sure where they could have come from. All right, here we have Storm in the upper atmosphere where there's no air, and yet somehow she's fine because Beau DeMayo thinks people can breathe in outer space. I don't know why. Also, there's a lot of fire here. Again, there's no oxygen. You need oxygen to have fire. Though I don't really know what's happening here. But Storm is having some kind of big, impressive feat. And I worry that this might be all she gets in Season 2. Because she's barely in this trailer otherwise. It was kind of the way it was in Season 1. Like, she had that big, impressive feat in the first episode where she took out a bunch of Sentinels, and then she didn't really do fuck all for the rest of the season. I mean, they adapted her life-death story from the comics. They butchered it, by the way. And then she was off-screen for half the season, then she comes back for the finale and doesn't do a damn thing in the finale either. So they really had very little use for her character. And judging by how little of her there is in this trailer, and also judging by some things that I've learned over the last 2 years and such, I was thinking that there were two possibilities for Storm storylines in season 2. One, she was going to be a Horseman of Apocalypse. Signs are pointing to that not being the case now. I think they basically 86 that theory. Because if the Horsemen are going to be created before the X-Men return to the present rather, then I think we're looking at resurrected Genosian victims. So she probably will not be a Horseman. And if that's not happening, then the only other possibility she has is like relationship stuff with Forge. She's got a new costume here, which is kind of like a matching set with the costume that Forge wears. So that makes sense, because when they released all those posters, they had all the characters grouped into the various teams and groupings that they'll appear in the season, and Storm was kind of separated from everybody. So it doesn't look like she's going to be a part of like the X-Corps storyline or whatever. I think her and Forge just kind of go off and do their own thing for a while, which is really dumb because we all know that they don't work out. I mean, they were a thing for a while in the comics, but it ended, and they haven't. I don't think they've been a thing since then. It's been decades now. Like, no one cares. So I don't know what they could possibly be building up to with that. Best guess would be they end up playing the Kitty Colossus role at Rogue and Gambit's eventual wedding. If you've read the comics, you know what I'm talking about. I'm definitely concerned that Storm may have another bad season. And, alright, flashbacks to Genosha. My god, that looks dark as hell. That looks like something out of a Terminator movie. That's something I thought when the previous leaked trailer came out. There was one shot where Xavier's waking up from a nightmare, and in the background you see this silhouette, probably of Apocalypse, who's approaching through the flaming wreckage of a children's playground. It's like that's like something that's like an image from Terminator 2. Like when Sarah Connor's having that nightmare about the nuke going off, and I think she's literally in a children's playground and she gets vaporized. It looks like that. That's what this looks like. Wow. Okay. All right, more flashbacks. There's Colossus, and we have now confirmed that the body he's crying over, that's Illyana. That's his sister, Magic. Bo DeMeo confirmed this one. This is not a rewrite, apparently. This was always his plan. He wanted to kill Magic so he could adapt this Colossus storyline from the comics, wherein his sister dies from the legacy virus in the comics, and he becomes very bitter and disillusioned and ends up becoming one of Magneto's acolytes for a while. This, to me, seems like a really dumb idea. Because, for years now, Colossus has been really fading into the background. I mean, kind of since the aborted wedding, actually. He's never really recovered from that. Frankly, Illyana is a much bigger character than he is now. They would have gotten less pushback if they'd killed Colossus instead. And remember, there were a couple teases of Magic in season 1. Like, Morph changed into her at one point, and then in the finale, she was one of the characters on Forge's pegboard, implying that she was still alive. So this seems very strange. And we know it wasn't a rewrite. DeMeo confirmed that, so this feels like just lazy writing because a certain someone didn't do their homework. Or didn't plan ahead, rather. So they're going to apparently flashback to Genosha and show Illyana dying, and that's what is kind of fueling the Colossus story, because apparently he's a larger character in Season 2 than we expected, which they've already got so many damn characters, they can't do any more. I don't know how they're going to fit all this in. Alright, yeah, here's a bunch of those newfangled Sentinels attacking the X-Corp building. Okay, so this is another, or at least a version of what was originally penciled in for Season 2. And that was Xavier becoming more hardlined, more militarized, and he was going to form X-Corp and build this X-Corp tower in the ruins of Genosha. And that was all going to culminate with the reveal that he was becoming Onslaught, and the Onslaught persona was influencing him to do all this stuff. That we know is not happening anymore, because that finale was cut. So, what is the X-Core storyline still doing there? It's the same thing with Lorna. Like, the story is still there, but the thing that pays it off is gone. So I'm not sure what we're building to now. It's very weird, but I guess it's some kind of, I don't know, X-Core gets attacked by Sentinels. We don't know who the Sentinels were built by. Best guess is Graydon Creed. And go back, you bastard. Yeah, Storm Colossus, okay. And Exodus, okay. Exodus is someone from the comics who should be a really cool character, who should be a really big deal, but nobody at Marvel seems to know how to write him. The one time I've read an iteration of this character that I really thought they were onto something with was in the original X-Men solo series. After Age of Apocalypse in the comics, they brought the Nate Gray character over to the 616 universe. They gave him his own series, and Exodus was the main antagonist in that book. I thought that was really cool. They made for good rivals. And Exodus is so damn powerful. Like, he's like an 11 out of 10 on the power scale. The dude is up there. So he should be a major player in the comics, you would think, but nobody seems to have any idea what to do with him. So ultimately, he tends to default to being a fanatical follower of Magneto, and that raises that raises a lot of questions after what happened in season 1. Just wait for it. But we do know Exodus is going to be he's going to be in season 2. He's going to have a storyline. And again, the original version of season 2 had Exodus kidnapping Graydon Creed and putting him on trial in the Savage Land, and Nightcrawler being forced to defend Creed and all that stuff. And judging by what happens a little bit later in this trailer, it looks like that story or a version of it is still in there. Okay, Danger. Now we're getting into some deep cuts. There's so many stories here. Danger, that is a character from the Joss Whedon run of Astonishing X-Men that came right after the legendary Morrison run. And this is a character that came about when the Danger Room gained sentience. Like, it became self-aware at some point in the past, and Xavier was aware of it, and he basically kept this sentient AI, or sentient personality, confined, like trapped within the Danger Room computer, because he knew he needed the Danger Room to prepare the X-Men for whatever was out there. Again, showing that Xavier is kind of a bastard when he wants to be. But eventually, this personality manipulated one of the students into killing himself in the Danger Room, and somehow that freed the Danger Room programming, and it kind of transformed itself into a humanoid body, and that's Danger. That's what this is. I really want to know who's voicing this character. I think Tricia Helfer would make a great Danger. She's got the voice for it. Alright, Cable. Really don't care about this story. I'm not here for the future stuff. Okay, cool. Yes. Alright, this is part of the Savage Land story, I believe. This is the Magneto. Magneto's, like, chamber or castle or wherever the hell he was living in those flashbacks we saw in season 1. Here we see a memorial to all the characters who died in Genosha. And if you just bear with me 1 second, of course, we've got, we zoom in a little bit. Also, there's some blank pictures here. They may have blanked those out for spoilers, but we've got Gambit. There's a couple pictures of him in there. And then we got close up. We've got Magic there. There's Ileana confirming that yes, she's dead. They're going to flashback that. I think that's absolutely stupid. And I believe the person in the picture next to her is Dazzler, because she was confirmed dead in episode 7 of season 1. We know that because we know that's her because they changed her hair to a redhead for some reason. I'm not sure why. I'm pretty sure that's Dazzler though. Also, below her we have Marrow, another cool character. We haven't seen her in a while in the comics though. She was a member of the X-Men for a while. She actually became a pretty cool character. And here's the big one. This one was pretty surprising. Iceman. All dead. In Genosha. You might find that strange because until we saw this, I didn't even know that Magic and Iceman were in Genosha during the Sentinel attack. And so, good lord, there are some pretty baffling characters to kill via flashback. That is problematic for all sorts of reasons. So this is, especially because Magic and Iceman were both implied to be alive in the season 1 finale. They were both on Forge's pegboard. I assumed that meant they were alive, but now, oh no, never mind, they're dead. DeMeo confirmed that too. That is freaking bizarre. Also just seems like lazy writing. Like, one shot of them getting killed in episode 5 would have been enough to set this up. That just feels like they didn't set this up properly. Okay, that being said, if the new 4 horsemen are being taken from the Genoshan victims, and it does look like that's going to be the case, then they've got some good options here. Of course, Magic and Iceman seem like very likely candidates now. I definitely want to put Dazzler in there. We don't know how much of a person's body Apocalypse needs in order to reanimate them. And some of those characters were just like vaporized, like Madeline Pryor, Banshee, and Marrow. Maybe he just needs like some of their ashes, like he can pour their ashes into a petri dish and regrow their body. We don't know. I mean, it's celestial technology. Who knows how that works? But assuming Apocalypse needs like, you know, a good sized chunk of a corpse, like to repair their body and bring them back to life. I mean, there's still some good options. Magic, Iceman, and Dazzler, they could make for a pretty cool horseman team. Not who I'd go with. But we could do worse. I mean, judging by their inclusion in this trailer, I think Magic and Iceman are almost a sure thing here. All right, let me get these out of the way here. Clear that out. Okay. Yep, again, very dark. All right. Jubilee. Something bad is happening to Jubilee. It looks like she's imprisoned somewhere. See, some kind of like energy cage of some kind. And if you look closely, she's wearing an inhibitor collar. I suspect this is also something that Creed did. Apocalypse really would not go in for inhibitor collars. I don't think Exodus would either. Probably Creed. Something bad is happening, and if you look outside the window, it looks like outer space here. Not sure how Jubilee would have gotten there. Something bad is happening, though. Maybe Sunspot dies? But in that case, it would be something good happening. I shouldn't say that. I'm sorry, that character just sucked. Jubilee, you can do better. You can do better. So that would be my guess. Maybe it's just wishful thinking. But Sunspot seems to be the person that she's closest with post-season 1. So that's best guess. Here we have Xavier. This is Mindscape. It's another dream, kind of like the sequence we saw in Xavier's Mindscape in episode 6 of season 1, where the initial Gambit as Death tease was. More ancient Egypt stuff. Here we have En Sabanor, and on either side of him we have Xavier and Magneto. And Ross Marquand, who voices Xavier and Magneto, he said to a fan at a con that he voices Xavier and Apocalypse, excuse me. He said that the two of those two characters share a lot of dialogue in season 2. So it does look like Xavier and Magneto are both going to be involved in with En Sabanor, and having some kind of discussions with him, and probably feeding him their respective ideologies, and he's going to take from that, and that's going to begin the process of forming him into what he eventually becomes, which is Apocalypse. And that's Savage Land stuff. So it looks like the Savage Land court thing story has survived. Storm, okay, and boom. All right. Some people on Twitter kind of freaked out at this because, oh my god, Deadpool is in season 2. Guys, that's Morph. That is Morph. Come on. He turned into Deadpool once in the original series as well. It's just another Easter egg. The big takeaway from this scene is that's a Brood he's fighting. Now, if you don't know who those are, the Brood are kind of like the Marvel equivalent of xenomorphs. They're this parasitic alien species. They lay embryos inside your body, and then the embryo hatches and kind of assimilates the body. And if the body has mutant powers, they can then use those powers. And they're very, very, very creepy. Simply fit the Brood into season 2 with all this other stuff happening. I know at one point, season 2 was going to include stuff with the Shi'ar to follow up on the season 1 stuff. Maybe there's some remnant of it that still remains. I'm not sure where else the Brood could possibly come from. Maybe there's some Brood on the Celestial ship. If not there, beats me. Or who knows, maybe it's a Danger Room sequence. That is a cool Easter egg, though. Also, they did a weird episode of the original series with some other alien species that was sort of like the Brood, but not really. That was the most they could get away with. Here, it's looked like we're getting the authentic Brood. That's pretty cool. And here we have Psylocke, because they're including every character they possibly can. And what's weird about this is that Psylocke has the traditional butterfly power signature, but that's Betsy Braddock's power signature. And we've now confirmed, because I think they let this out of the bag in some of the toys they've released, that this is not Betsy Braddock. This is Quanon. And that is a labyrinthine story in the comics where there was this ninja assassin Quanon who died, and Betsy Braddock kind of, like, her mind kind of moved in and took over her body, and he was actually using Quanon's body for quite a long time. I think they only put them back in their respective bodies, like, in the last few years, and that turned out to be a big mistake because I don't think anybody has given a shit about either character ever since. Also, Psylocke appeared for a few episodes in the 90s series, and she was Betsy Braddock at that time. And now it's just going to be Quanon. So, another retcon, because apparently it's just not PC anymore to do that story. I think it's so stupid. Betsy Braddock in Quanon's body is the most popular version of the character, like it or not. It's just dumb. It's more PC nonsense, they can't do it. Okay, this is cool. Here we go. All right, look at this. Here we have Rogue pushing towards some kind of structure that looks like Apocalypse's head, and there's this ethereal pink light emanating from it that looks like Gambit's power signature. I think this is the point of Season 2 where Rogue finally confronts Gambit after he has been turned into the Horseman of Death. Now, if you look at... Where is it? There we go. Yeah. If you look at this, look at what Rogue is wearing. That is a version of the suit she wore in the Extreme X-Men story where Rogue charged into the afterlife to stop Gambit, to basically pull him back from the brink of death, because they were both like mortally wounded during a fight, and I think Rogue absorbed Logan's Wolverine's healing power, so she saved herself. But Gambit was touch and go there for a while, so she goes into the afterlife to kind of pull him back. That's what I think they're referencing here, and some other people on Instagram, they pointed this out, like in Tumblr and some other places. They pointed this out, like, hey, remember what Rogue did when she wore this exact suit in the comics? And Lenore Zan, who voices Rogue, actually liked one of those posts. And I guess she kind of she tried to signal boost it a little bit. And Lenore Zan actually quoted a line that Rogue had in that issue. And she's quoted that a couple times, actually. So I think they're going to be adapting that story, or at least taking inspiration from it. So this is when Rogue confronts Gambit and presumably saves him. It's definitely the same suit. Excuse me. All right. Okay. Various characters here. All right. Look at Magneto. Look at this guy. This redesign that they gave Magneto is really funny to me. Because one, they've covered him up from head to toe, which I think is a definite pot shot, albeit a subtle one, but a pot shot at Beau DeMayo, who loved presenting Magneto in like, I guess like a sexually charged way, and there were times when he kind of wanted to show Magneto in as little clothing as possible, as little as he could get away with, because Magneto was his self-insert, and the whole season was a Magneto wank fest. So he just wanted to drool over the character, essentially. But now they've covered him up completely, given him this big bushy beard, which makes him look 20 years older, and now a disfiguring scar. I hope that scar stays. And if you look closely, those look like 3 claw marks. So, presumably Magneto runs afoul of Wolverine and his bone claws? Because if Wolverine slashed him with the adamantium claws, that dude wouldn't have a face left. So this would be before Logan gets the adamantium back, and hey, this is payback for ripping out the adamantium and trying to destroy the world, you son of a bitch. I hope that I hope that disfiguring scar stays. That bastard deserves a lot worse. Fuck you, Magneto. And, well, these things go by so damn fast. Where is it? Come on, come on, come on. Emma Frost. I did not expect Emma Frost to appear in Season 2 at all. It doesn't look like she'll be getting much, but I'll take what I can get at this point. Don't know what she could be doing, but there's a shot in just a second that has certain characters that Emma should be involved in, but it looks like she won't be, and that is annoying to me because they already gave away some of Emma's most critical stories to other characters in Season 1, so Emma Frost deserves more respect than that because she is a bigger character than most of the people appearing in this thing right now. Okay, and where is it? Yeah, here it is. Oh, for God's sake. Yep. Go back. Yeah, all right, here we go. All right, yeah, it looks like Emma's story is being given to Polaris, who is a B-lister in the comics, so that's stupid. But Beau DeMayo likes her, so she's gonna get priority over Emma, who is much more popular. It's very, very stupid. And you look at all these characters around here. These are Generation X characters. Some of them are, at least. We've got on the upper left, that's Chamber. Upper right is Penance. Below her, I believe, is Sync. Can't be sure, but black kid with a shaved head. There's only so many people he could be, so I believe that's Sync. And also Kid Omega, really? Below Chamber, wait, who was asking for Quentin Quire? That little punk? Good grief. Also, he's wearing a Magneto is right shirt. Really? The guy who tried to destroy the world? BT Dubs, Quentin, you were in the world when Magneto tried to destroy it. What did you think was going to happen to you? Just saying. Why Magneto would have any followers left at all at this point is beyond me. Makes no fucking sense. Including Colossus. We see Colossus in his Magneto Acolyte gear. Illyana dies. He's angry and bitter about that. So he decides to follow Magneto? Why? Illyana died in Genosha. Magneto failed to protect Genosha. And then Magneto tried to literally destroy the world and end all life on it. Even if Illyana had survived Genosha, had Magneto gotten what he wanted, she would have died anyway. Anyone saying Magneto was right at this point is freaking bullshit. It makes no sense. Oh, God. All right, the kid on the stretcher at the very top there, I think is Wing, who is a character from the Danger story arc in the comics. So I'm guessing they're fighting Danger. This is Polaris and Bishop. I believe they're fighting Danger in this sequence right here. So she's protecting these these kid characters. Maybe afterwards she delivers them to Emma Frost? That could be a way to fit Emma in, because with the X-Men gone, Emma would be the only person who has a mutant school. So that would make sense. And in the Generation X comics, I mean, Emma was their mentor. One of them, it was her and Banshee who were teaching those kids. So that's her story. It's not Polaris' story. And sorry, these things are going by so fast. Yeah, and Archangel. Okay. More retconning here. Because we have Archangel in his Angel of Death suit from when he was Apocalypse's Horseman. And he did wear that costume for a while in the 90s series, but not anymore. By the end of season... I don't know, it was season... Yeah, I think it was the end of season 4. There was a multi-part story, and he had gone back to the traditional red and white suit with the halo on the chest, signifying that he'd kind of recovered from his PTSD and gotten over all his anger and resentment and bitterness over Apocalypse for using him as a horseman. Now he's gone back to the Angel of Death suit. So are we just regressing his character so we can give him the same arc? It probably is his most iconic look, but I mean, you got to explain this stuff. Wouldn't be the only character they're doing that with. And yeah, here we have Exodus versus Nightcrawler in what appears to be the Savage Land, so that storyline made the cut. I don't know why they'd be sword fighting, because Exodus is so far above Nightcrawler on the power scale, it's kind of ridiculous. So sword fighting would be the only way that Nightcrawler would even stand a chance against this guy. Because, I mean, Exodus is the kind of person that takes an entire team to even match, to even put up a fight. He's that powerful. So this is kind of weird. And finally, I believe in the X-Men and big team shot. And this, I believe, judging by the background, is either the Savage Land or I think New Orleans. Where they buried Gambit, where they had his funeral, and I figure at some point in season 2, they're going to have to go back to the cemetery where they buried Gambit and find that his body has been dug up and he's not there. And if you look at Storm, she has not had the costume change yet. So she's still wearing the 80s costume that she wore at the end of season 1. And we see late at some point she changes into blue and yellow suit to match the one that Forge is wearing. She hasn't done that yet, so this is probably around like mid-season. And I guess I figure the costume change has got to come later on. And yep, you see the X-Men and X-Force characters all together. Certain characters are not there. Rogue is not there. I don't think Nightcrawler is there either. I want to just go back a little bit. The X-Men, yeah, it doesn't look like Nightcrawler's there either, so Nightcrawler and Rogue are off doing something. And here they are most likely fighting either Exodus and the Acolytes or the Four Horsemen. And that is the whole thing. Adamantium claws. I don't know what that green stuff is in the claws. Brood blood, perhaps? Who knows? And Disney logo. Okay. I think that's officially everything in Season 2. I went on for quite a while about that. Okay, let's see what you guys had to say about this trailer. Yeah, I miss when seasons had 26 episodes per season. Oh, me too. Man, this new TV model sucks. It just freaking sucks. We gotta wait like a year or two for like 8 episodes. Once upon a time, we get like 22 episodes every year of a show. Can we go back to that? I mean, I know the production values are better, but Jesus. Ridiculous that it takes that long now. I know when they do movies, they need a larger scale threat, but for a TV series that's episodic, I wouldn't mind a season 2 of lower level threats they could solve without the world being in danger. Yeah, I'm the same way, dude. I see what you're... I definitely... I see what you're saying. I mean, season 1, they tried to go like 0 to 100 and maintain that pace the entire way. And like nothing had a chance to breathe. I mean, you need quiet moments too. You need a chance for the characters to just take a breath and collect themselves, because I mean, maintaining that pace the entire time, it's fatiguing for the audience. I mean, that was one of my big complaints about season 1. They needed to slow down a little bit and just, because I mean, if you think about it, these characters have not had a friggin' break. And it doesn't look like they're taking their foot off the gas anytime soon. Definitely not this season. I don't know. It's frustrating. Why was it axed? Okay, referring to the original season 1 finale. Because original season 2 finale. It was axed because the original season 2 finale was setting up Age of Apocalypse, which the studio didn't want to do. And apparently, DeMeo's plan was to spend the entire season 3 on Age of Apocalypse, which was so stupid and such a terrible idea, because you're talking about like a story that lasted like 5 issues. 5 issues of every title, granted, and stretch it out to an entire season? Like you took Life Death, that was years and years of comics, and condensed it into like the length of 1 episode. And now he wants to take something that could be like a 3-parter or a 2-parter even and stretch it out to the entire season. Plus, spending a whole season on an AU story that just gets erased at the end? Fuck, terrible idea. And they already basically did Age of Apocalypse in the original series anyway, with one man's worth. So, terrible idea. So, the studio got rid of that. So they cut it down to 9 episodes. Not sure what version of it we're getting now, but we know Age of Apocalypse is not happening anymore, and that's why that whole final episode was cut, because it was devoted to Legion Quest, which is no longer necessary. All right. Seems like Nightcrawler in ancient Egypt would be worshipped as a god. Maybe people would just think he's a demon. I'm wondering how they're going to explain how they look to the natives. You know, presumably they're going to be interacting with the ancient Egyptians. You know, some of them do look kind of funky. Like, how are they going to explain Beast and Nightcrawler? I guess Xavier could just do some telepathy and kind of make them think they look different. I don't know. I mean, the ancient Egyptians are gonna be like, what the fuck? I mean, are you a real life Sphinx? You some kind of demon? Who knows? Except, of course, for not being able to communicate with ancient Egyptians. I wonder if that will even come up. No, they explained that. In the finale, because telepaths can kind of traverse the language barrier. Now they've done that in the comics before. Xavier can just do like a quick mental whatever and just instant language translation. That's kind of how that happens. They did it with Sabanor in that final scene. How did he survive Sabretooth? I remember in the old series it looked like Sabretooth was going to kill Graydon. Yeah, it did. Like they dropped him off at like some cabin out in the middle of nowhere where Sabretooth was living. Hey, if it ain't my son, the famous hater of mutants or something. And I guess Creed just shows up alive again afterwards somehow. So apparently Sabretooth just let him live. Graydon is his son. Not sure why that would matter to a guy like Sabretooth. I mean, is there any other explanation? I don't know. It's one of those things that they'll probably just ignore. Why did Magic die? Because DeMeo wanted to tell the story of... because DeMeo wanted to use that to do something with Colossus. There was a story in the comics where Illyana got the legacy virus and it killed her eventually. And this was the start of Colossus, of a temporary heel turn for Colossus, where he just got very disillusioned and angry, and he left the X-Men and he joined Magneto's acolytes for a while. Apparently this is a way of doing that story without bringing the legacy virus into it. Ironically, the legacy virus would feel very timely these days. But yeah, I think it's a stupid story to adapt because it just makes no sense in this context. One, because magic is so popular these days, And two, because after what Magneto did in season 1, why in the living fuck would anybody follow him? Makes no fucking sense. But that's DeMeo for you. Onslaught's storyline would need time to build. Yeah, that's what I thought too. I thought doing it in season 2 would have been way too early anyway. I mean, that's something that needs time to cook for a while. I mean, do it down the road maybe, but season 2, that's way too soon. Also, they don't have the setup predicated on Xavier mind-wiping Magneto during Fatal Attractions and absorbing all of his rage and evil or whatever, and Xavier's mind being corrupted by it. But in this version, that didn't happen. So where would Onslaught even come from? I think DeMeo just wanted to do it because it's another Magneto-heavy story. But it doesn't make sense now. So it's... whatever. He's gone. We don't have to deal with him anymore after season 2. Okay. That was pretty good. You know your stuff. Yeah, I try. Thank you. What about Onslaught? We could have gotten Heroes Reborn or Zero Tolerance. Well, I mean, they did Zero Tolerance in the first season. All right. What about Onslaught? So we don't know all the details, but I think originally, before DeMeo got fired and before he had to change plans, what he wanted to do for the finale of season 2 was Onslaught, and basically it was going to be Force and the Fantastic Four and the Avengers all versus Onslaught, and then there were going to be a bunch of other things happening, and I guess the Celestial Ship was going to be a part of that, and I think that's where the Brood were going to come from, because the Brood were going to be a part of this too, and it was going to be this gigantic, massive thing that, to be honest, sounds way too damn crowded and just like a giant clusterfuck. I can see why the studio... it's just going to be a giant crowd of bodies. Nobody would have stood out. So yeah, I'm really glad that's not happening now, because it sounds like a complete fucking mess. Yeah, so they 86'd that one. That will not be happening now. So I'm assuming it's going to be Apocalypse's show at the end of the season. We won't know yet. We won't know for a while yet. And still miss John Colicos, best Apocalypse voice ever. Yeah, he was great, wasn't he? Apocalypse is a great villain, and you see, so quotable too. Like in the old series, like if you made a list of like the top 10 best lines in X-Men the Animated Series, like 8 of them would be Apocalypse lines. Like every line the guy gets is just like prime meme fodder. He's the best. And it looks like that's about it. I'm at the end of the chat room, so if you guys have anything else you want to talk about, get them in now. Otherwise, I think we can wrap this up. What do you guys think of the trailer? Have any questions about that? Anything I can clear up? Any fan theories you want to talk about? Gotta be honest, I mean, if you add this to the 2 leaked trailers that came out earlier, I have no earthly clue how they can fit all this stuff in. You know, a couple months ago, I tried to take everything from the trailer that leaked out of New York Comic Con and all like the popular fan theories and things that spoilery bits that we learned. I tried to figure out what the narrative could possibly be and figure out how, like, where and when the stuff could all fit in season 2, and tried to outline how the season could potentially go. It took me a while. I think I figured out a version of it that could work, just to try to, just for fun, try to figure out how. This new trailer kind of blew a hole in pretty much in almost every theory I had. It was a lot of fun, though. They just keep adding more and more stuff to it. Oh God, this season 2 could potentially be such a mess. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited for it. I want to see how they're going to address certain stories. I mean, definitely the Gambit story, but holy moly, this is going to be so crowded. And I really hope they don't pull a Young Justice, a show that started out great, but then they started adding more and more and more characters, and eventually it just dropped off a cliff in that final season. I don't want that to happen here. Do you think we will be getting Onslaught? I think we could potentially get Onslaught in the future. It looks like that won't be happening in Season 2, nor should it. Season 2 is too soon. That's a story that needs to cook for a while. So I think it's Apocalypse in Season 2. Maybe they do Onslaught later on. Any predictions for Season 3? Not really. Season 3 is a whole new ball game because we've got the new showrunner and like a whole new direction, and apparently the producers of so they're I guess they're kind of shepherding things. We do know that it's going to be focused on the school. So I mean, they could be taking more elements from the Morrison run. That could be possible. Otherwise, we're just going to have to wait and see. We don't know much. We do know that they've confirmed at least 4 seasons, because that was in an article that came out yesterday. So we're guaranteed at least 4 seasons right now. Potentially more, we don't know. What's going to happen in Season 3? It's too early to think about Season 3. We don't know yet. We got to see how Season 2 shakes out first. Do you think the new showrunner could be trusted? Because I don't trust them. They did What If, which started out strong, but then crashed and burned. Yeah, that's definitely a concern. Look, this new showrunner, he's going to have to prove himself, absolutely. Here's how I look at it, though. Before they made Captain America the Winter Soldier, would you have thought that the Russo brothers, the guys who made You, Me, and Dupree, would be a good choice to direct a Marvel movie? Probably not. Turns out they were these kick-ass action filmmakers who just hadn't gotten the right project to really show their stuff. Maybe that's going to be the case here. Okay, because Matt Chauncey, the new showrunner, he worked on What If. So it's not a good sign. But I don't think he's ever worked on a project like this one before. So it's that he just hadn't really been able to work on a project that was in his wheelhouse? Maybe? I can't rule it out. I'm definitely concerned. But, I mean, after the mess that Beau DeMayo turned into, I'm happy to take a chance on someone new. I'm taking a wait-and-see approach with Chauncey right now. He'll have to prove himself, absolutely. But right now, I'm choosing to give him the benefit of the doubt. And if the original series producers are kind of like overseeing everything and giving script notes, because they said they have been, if they are the ones who are kind of if they're the ones who are kind of like the Watcher, I guess, and just kind of overseeing the project and making sure nobody really does anything stupid, writing wise. But if they can kind of move everything in the direction they want it to go, that gives me hope. So Matt Chauncey is a wait and see right now. I am rooting for him to pull this off. I'm going to say, okay, you worked on some stuff that was not so good in the past. Clean slate. Let's hit the ground running, because I really, really, really want X-Men 97 to be good. I want Season 2 to be good. I want this show to be good, because this show means a lot to me. X-Men the Animated Series was my favorite show as a kid. It was my introduction to, like, all this geeky fandom type stuff. And I wouldn't be the fan of all this stuff that I am today if not for that show. That show is important to me. X-Men 97 is an important show to me. I want it to be good. I don't want to root against Matt Chauncey. I'm rooting for him to pull this off. And I think we can end it there. Let's see. I haven't watched the original cartoon. Do you recommend watching that first, or can I start with 97? No, you should... No, you should watch it because it's just a great show. I would absolutely recommend watching it. I don't know how necessary it is to prime yourself for 97, because they definitely played fast and loose with the continuity there. Some things about the 90s series are followed. Some things about it they've changed, and some things they just ignore. But yeah, I mean, I would absolutely recommend watching it. I mean, for its time, that was a revolutionary show in a lot of ways. Again, my favorite show as a kid. My whole week revolved around Saturday mornings for several years while that show was airing. You should absolutely watch it. But yeah, 97 does kind of pick and choose which parts of it they want to follow and which ones they don't. But yeah, you should watch it, definitely. Absolutely. I would absolutely recommend watching it. It's a great show. And you know what? I think we can end with that. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching this and letting me talk about this trailer. I do intend to cover Season 2. I do intend to do reviews of that show. Like I did with Season 1. I'm already stressing over it. This thing has the potential to really do things to me that I'm not looking forward to, but I'm excited too, damn it. I can't wait to see how or if they can fix certain things about Season 1 that gave me so much anxiety. If nothing else, it's gonna be a fun way to spend the summer. So thank you so much for watching. If you're new here, if you didn't know, this stream will be set to private as soon as I end the stream, and then it'll be uploaded to the live streaming channel in the next day or two. You can link to that in the description box down below, or you can just do a YouTube search for Thorias Unlimited live streams. It should be the first one. I can't have them on the main channel because it hurts the algorithm too much. So that's where this stream will be in the next day or two. You can find it there, rewatch it there, or watch it for the first time there if you missed it. If you missed the stream tonight. So thanks once again. I will talk to you guys later.